Well, Donald Trump might just win to become President of the United States of America, and he's promised to end EVs. Can he actually do it? Hi, I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. Let's have a look. There seems to be real delight and joy amongst many at the thought that the EV industry may be on the verge of failing totally and could be finished off by a new president. And I find this tremendously worrying and actually sickening phenomenon. Why would so many normally sensible people just want an entire industry, worldwide industry, to fail, casting tens or hundreds of thousands of fellow workers into unemployment? Why? Can anyone out there explain that? Because I don't understand it. But first we have to ask, is the EV industry already on the brink of collapse? And could Donald J. Trump complete the job? So first summary, a quick roundup of where we are now. The industry really began only about 7 years ago, 2017, with the launch of the Model 3. Up until then, Zoes and Leafs about, but the Model 3, the first year, sold more than all of those put together for the last 10 years. And so it was really the launch. 2018 went on then to become a record year, far and away more than anything before. But all the cars were dear. Model 3 in the UK is £40,000, short range, 200 odd miles, and nearly an hour to charge it fully. Now, I know 80% of all the cars sold, they're used, and only 20% of new sales, and only 10% of those are EVs. Top 10 are best-selling cars in the UK, all under £30,000, and all petrol cars got a range of 400 or 500 miles, and you can take 5 minutes to fill it up at a garage. Well, to date, 40 million EVs been sold worldwide, and 14 million last year, out of a total of 78 million. That's about 16% are EVs. Even in America, 10%. Now, there are EV factories everywhere, and as an industry, it is absolutely worldwide. If we just look at a list of the number of factories just making EVs, and we're talking about, obviously, gigafactories, 7 of those throughout the world. Lucid, they've got factories in Arizona, Saudi. Rivian, factory in America as well. General Motors got a factory called Factory Zero, the first of them, and 2 more being built. Ford's got factories in Mexico and Michigan and Tennessee, just about to open up. Stellantis got dozens of them, actually just electric. SAIC is mostly electric, that's China. Zeekr, NIO, BYD, got factories all over. Geely, Xpeng, Li Auto, Guangzhou, the Volkswagen Group, Mercedes, BMW. There are dozens and dozens and hundreds of factories around the world, employing an awful lot of people making cars. And on top of that, you've got the EV battery factories. These are, we've even got one in the UK. Yeah, it makes about 1% of anything we could possibly want, but we've got one. The EU has got a couple of hundred. China's got CATL, BYD. Then we got Japan, Korea with things like LG, Panasonic. Europe itself, Northvolt, Continental, Saft, Leclanche, Varta. The list goes on. This is a major employer. They are making cars, EVs, for the whole of the world, and they are selling pretty much as many as they can make. Now, I know some of the cars don't sell well, but that's not to do with them being an EV. That's to do with them being rubbish and expensive. So when we look at an EV, forget all this, you want all the factories to fail and EVs to stop. Don't understand it. I'm not even going to go there. But for many people, EVs are a very good answer to their transport problem. Not all of them, but many of them. Recent interview, Jim Farley said that over 90% of Americans only do 1 or 2 journeys a year in excess of 200 miles. Why do people keep on going on about, I need an EV to do a 1,000-mile range, and until, It's rubbish. It's lack of education, but it's just not true. Nobody needs a 1,000-mile range. 1,000-mile range, if you look at an average driving speed of about 60 miles an hour on a motorway, that's over 15 hours solid driving. There's no one can do that without stopping. So you're gonna stop. You don't need a 1,000-mile range. Certainly more than 200. You don't need 1,000. Approximately 50% of homes can charge a car. They have a drive or a garage or some pull-off or something, and about half the homes in the UK you can actually charge at home. And for those, if you're only doing local driving and you can charge at home, electric cars are absolutely perfect. So why have they stalled? And the answer is top 10 cars in the UK, all under 30,000. Some of them under 20,000. There are no current EVs on offer under 25,000 at all. None. Okay, so the price is ridiculous. There are no decent cars in the range people are looking, and also the range and the charging time. People perceive these to be a total block. It's not, but they perceive it to be. And the solution is simple, and we're actually already heading there. We need cheaper cars, under £20,000, sensible cars, and we need longer range, 300, 400, 500 miles, and we need quicker charging times. Definitely under an hour, definitely down below 15 minutes, maybe down 10 or even 5 minutes. At the moment, there's only a couple of cars just squeeze in under £30,000. Leaf, MG4, 27,000. These are way too dear, but they're on the way and they're coming soon. We also need to look at range. 250 is really common these days, but not in the winter. In the winter, that comes down probably below 200 miles, and that's a psychological barrier for some people. That's pretty much less than half what a petrol car will do, even in the winter. And then, of course, we've got charging time. It averages about an hour, going from 0 to 100%. Now, I know we never do. No one who's got an EV ever does that. But that's what a lot of people are misled or lied to believe that that's what you have to do. Well, the first of the models that came on sale, they were half-hearted efforts by the legacy auto. And they were just very expensive electric versions of just old tech, poor design, poor spec, and a huge price, sort of 40, 50, 60,000 pounds. Only diehards will pay this. In America, for example, the McHale over 40,000 pound, petrol version 30. F150, 65,000 starting price. Petrol version of the F150, 32,000, twice the price, half the price. In the UK, it's very similar. All our petrol and hybrid models are 25, 30, 40, 50% cheaper than the equivalent EVs. Think of a VW ID4, 40 grand, Volkswagen Golf 26, Volkswagen Polo 19, ID3 36. That's half price for a Polo. They're still way too expensive. And now we're looking into changing range with the Shenzhen batteries. 500 miles is now becoming a reality, 400 mile totally realistic, and the charging time is down below 15 minutes now. With solid state, next development, you're going to get over 500 miles and probably 5 minutes charging time. Oh, at last. So we need the first EVs down below 25,000. Some of them are starting to come, not here yet. BYD Seagull, Citroen EC3, they're around about 20,000 on the way. For now, they're still too dear for the range and the long charging time, but charging this year is changing. So, back to America, Donald J. Trump. Can he stop them? No. Simple, brutal, he can't. But he's going to have a try. Will his first order as president be to sack maybe 50,000 EV industry workers in the States? No. Will he ban all Chinese EVs or impose huge tariffs? No. That could start a trade war in the first months. Not a good look. He's probably going to make orders that will favour ICE, give them some bonuses, some tax breaks. But what about his love affair with President Xi? He seems to love him. But let's say he does ban all Chinese EVs and he ends all subsidies, tax breaks, incentives, gives them all to the ICE industry. EVs won't end. See, Tesla will still be making them, they're making a profit, and if they can't sell into America, they'll just sell abroad. My car, for example, was imported from Fremont. See, the US market's only 330 million people. China's 1.2 billion, India 1.3, Indonesia 728, Europe 746. EV is not going to go away. They'll just switch sales to those countries still buying, which is 95% of the world. They'll just sell them there. And instead of trying to open factories in America, they'll open them elsewhere. In India, they're talking about. UK, they've talked about Australia, Indonesia, maybe another one in China. See, Trump cannot destroy EVs, but he can destroy the entire EV industry and tens of thousands of jobs in America. See, Rivian, for example, just uproots and go to Saudi. Ford and General Motors got joint ventures in China. Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, Porsche, they'll just go back to Europe and say, sod America, we'll supply to Europe and nearby. And Europe's twice the size of the US market. But even at full production, the entire world output of EVs is probably no more than about 25 million in 2024. If none of them went to the USA, they wouldn't be missed. Over 50% of all new EVs go straight back into China. USA takes less than 5%. If they banned them all, wouldn't affect the market in the slightest. So Trump could easily destroy an industry in the US, but neither he nor the USA can stop EVs everywhere else in the entire world. In fact, if America had stopped buying, there'll be just more for us. So will it affect us? No. Our EVs generally don't come from America, they come from Europe or China. We probably wouldn't even notice if America shut down their EV production tomorrow. Well, sorry all you idiots chanting for the end of EVs. Over here, nobody is listening. In fact, they've already listened, and later this year, we will start to get the first EVs with 400-mile range, with 15-minute or 10-minute charging time, 0 to 100, and we'll be able to buy them for well under £25,000. So do your worst over in America. It doesn't matter to us who's going to win over there. It will make a difference to the workers in America. It won't make any difference to the EV buyers in UK, Europe, or the rest of the world. Not a jot. Thanks for watching. I'm Darren.